Scary facts you didn't know about. There's an actual place called the Middle of Nowhere in New Mexico. An elderly couple lived in a single house located there and claimed to see a strange creature that looked like a skinwalker. After reporting what they saw to the police, the couple strangely disappeared. Only their dog was left behind. Courage the Cowardly Dog is based on this story.
Strange, bizarre facts that you wish you didn't know. After 12 days of excruciating pain, Alexander the Great was buried alive. They didn't realize it, but he had a sickness that made him completely unable to show any signs of life. That way he was buried alive. They found him 6 days later, and his body had not decomposed at all yet. They say that he was mentally completely aware that he was being buried, but could not do anything about it, and died excruciating mental death. In the ancient Olympics, athletes actually performed naked. They did this for a couple different reasons. One reason was to imitate the gods. The other reason was because they wanted to clear the toxins from their skin after sweating at each sport. In fact, gymnastics comes from the ancient word gymnasia, which means to train naked. The German Air Force had an interrogator that was against physical confrontation, so he actually was so nice to people they would give up their information.
Ant death spiral. A lot of ants use magnetism to orientate themselves. When army ants, which are naturally blind, lose track of the pheromone scent that keeps them in contact with their main foraging party, they begin to follow one another, forming a continuously rotating circle.
Strange Facts Part 1.
Only 2 days that do not last 24 hours, the one of your birth and the one of your death. Pacu is a South American freshwater fish known for its squarer, straighter teeth that eerily resemble those of humans. This is how a toothbrush looks like under a microscope after the first use. Google hires camels for the desert street view.
Facts that will blow your mind. There is enough DNA in the average person's body to stretch from the sun to Pluto and back 17 times. The average human body carries 10 times more bacterial cells than human cells. It takes a photon up to 40,000 years to travel from the core of the sun to its surface, but only 8 minutes to travel the rest of the way to Earth. At over 2,000 kilometers long, the Great Barrier Reef is the largest living structure on Earth. There are 8 times as many atoms in a teaspoonful of water as there are teaspoonfuls of water in the Atlantic Ocean. In an entire lifetime, the average person walks the equivalent of 5 times around the world. There are actually over 24 states of matter that we know of. Grasshoppers have ears in their bellies. Killer whales are actually dolphins. You can't taste food without saliva. Follow and comment below which fact blew your mind.
Interesting things you didn't know existed. Doctors in Brazil created a 3D ultrasound printer so that blind people can see their babies. Apparently, blind people be fucking. These traffic lights in India make it easier for people to see when the lights colors change. That's cause nobody be paying attention anymore, so they gotta light up the whole shit. There's a place named the Corpus Museum, and it allows you to take a trip through the entire human body. My meat took a trip through your girl's body. A Japanese designer named Yasuhiro Suzuki made a giant zipper and turned it into a boat. What the fuck?
Facts you probably didn't know that could save your life. PT.10. If you ever get shot by a small caliber weapon, one of the best things to use to plug the hole and stop the bleeding is a tampon. Use your jeans as a life preserver in water by tying the legs together and filling them with air. If being attacked, never strike in the torso. This is not the movies. Instead, go for the groin, eyes, or ears and then run and scream as fast and as loud as you can. You were born with instincts. If you feel something is wrong with a person or situation, it probably is. Don't discount those good feelings that something isn't right, or there's something hazardous about the situation. Also in these situations, don't be afraid of being rude, just leave.
Crazy facts that will blow your mind. PT.46. Shredded cheese packages typically contain cellulose, also known as wood pulp or sawdust, to prevent them from clumping. There's a company that allows you to memorialize the body of a loved one in the form of a wreath. Shakira's school teacher told her she was bad at singing and banned her from choir. Her classmates stated she sounded like a goat. Scary facts you didn't know about. During the filming of The Exorcist, multiple sets burnt down, actors got mysteriously injured, and one of the actors, Jack McGowan, even died of influenza. Eventually, a priest was brought in to bless the set. Your brain can play tricks on you to make you see monsters in the mirror, called the Troxler effect. A girl heard her mom yell her name from downstairs, so she got up and started to head down. As she got to the stairs, her mom pulled her into her room and said, "I heard that too."
Here are some facts that you probably didn't know that one day could save your life. Part 4. If you ever need to escape a moving car, do not jump out. Put one foot down and take a step. This will significantly reduce your speed and you'll have a much greater chance of surviving the fall. If you can't do a pull-up, you probably won't have the strength to pull yourself up off of a ledge. Wolves will only attack you if they can intimidate you into running away from them. Standing your ground against a wolf pack will be terrifying, but eventually, they'll leave you alone. If you ever get carjacked and they tell you to drive, crash the car into a nearby road or intersection. Most likely they won't be wearing their seatbelt, so when you crash the car, they'll get injured and you can take this chance to get out of the car and run like hell. If a service dog ever approaches you without its owner, follow them and do it quickly, because you could potentially save someone else's life.
Surprising facts you didn't know about alcohol, part 2. If you have blue eyes, you have a higher tolerance to alcohol. Russians consume an average of 12 liters of alcohol every year. 1 in 5 of the top 100 country songs involve alcohol. Milkshakes used to contain alcohol. The average first use of alcohol is 13.4 years old.
Weird crime facts you probably didn't know about. At Yellowstone National Park, there's a legal murder zone. No joke, there's a 50 square mile section at Yellowstone National Park where you can get away with murder and other crimes. Okay? Crime rates actually rise depending on temperature. The Chicago Tribune conducted a study and found that certain crimes increase depending on temperature. I mean, it's 125 degrees down in Arizona. It is actually legal to have sex with a corpse in more than 20 states. Yeah, 20 states have no laws against necrophilia. Wow. Police can confiscate your belongings if they think you purchased them with drug money. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, you can fucking try and take my shit away. You can try it. Double tap for more.
I bet you didn't know that, part 8. Armadillo shells are so hard they can deflect a bullet. Cows sweat through their noses. The average iceberg weighs 20 million tons. If you lift a kangaroo's tail off the ground, it can't hop.
Deep facts you didn't know about.
People cry, not because they are weak, but because they have been strong for too long. Holding in your emotions and pretending to be okay can put a lot of stress on your mind and heart.
Most laughs that you hear on TV shows today were recorded in the 1950s. Means, technically, you're likely hearing dead people laughing.